Welcome to Rob Schmitt Tonight. For the past 8 years, there has been no greater purveyor of Trump derangement than MSNBC's morning show. Joe Scarborough and his wife and several regular panelists spend about 4 hours every single day manufacturing outrage over Donald Trump. No show is more responsible for the vilification of Trump than Morning Joe. No TV program has been more effective at creating this current political climate where 20 to 30% of this country believes that our next president is a fascist threat to democracy, despite the fact that he just won the election in a landslide. No show is more divisive than Morning Joe. No show is more anti-Trump. But on Friday morning, the show's hosts shocked everybody when they entered the lion's den. Joe Scarborough and Mika went to Mar-A-Lago, walking onto the private property of a man that they have compared to Adolf Hitler. Now, this must have taken tremendous bravery, we assume. Either that or Joe and Mika don't really believe their own ridiculous rhetoric. You decide which one it was. In the end, Supreme Leader Trump spoke with the hosts quite graciously, we understand, and allowed them to leave unharmed. This morning, they described their meeting in great detail.
Joe and I went to Mar-A-Lago to meet personally with President-elect Trump. It was the first time we have seen him in 7 years.
Now, we talked about a lot of issues, including abortion, mass deportation, threats of political retribution against political opponents, and media outlets. We didn't see eye to eye on a lot of issues, and we told him so.
What we did agree on was to restart communications. For those asking why we would go speak to the president-elect during such fraught times, especially between us, I guess I would ask back, why wouldn't we? Joe and I realize it's time to do something different. And that starts with not only talking about Donald Trump, but also talking with him.
It's the worst. So is he still a fascist threat to, I don't know. What is he? Is he still Hitler? Is he Mussolini? We don't know. We just got that. Last week, we heard rumors of a major shakeup at MSNBC. Perhaps even a sale. Whatever Comcast is going to do, we don't know. But suddenly, Joe and Mika are going to Mar-A-Lago looking for a fresh start with Trump to restart dialogue after 7 years. The most amazing part was Trump accepted their request to speak because that's just kind of how he is. Here's how their show has sounded nearly every single day for years.
Donald Trump is the protector of women because his bands just killed another woman.
He is as shallow and vacuous as anybody that's ever stepped onto a debate stage.
This individual, this candidate, this convicted felon plays dirty. He plays ugly. He's done it many times in the past.
He is an autocrat, and if he takes power again, he will be an autocrat. And now we're just going full on Hitler.
The second most powerful cable news network in the country spewed that for years, and Trump still won decisively. What a wake-up call for the TDS media this has been, finding out nobody cares no matter how loud, how ridiculous they scream. Americans just want limited government and a good quality of life. That's pretty much it. Joe and Mika slammed over the head by a healthy dose of reality 2 weeks ago. Now they want to restart a dialogue with Donald Trump. Their ratings already plummeted after the election. They're going to fall a lot further tomorrow morning, we suspect. Viewers watching today were enraged. One saying pathetic, a desperate attempt to save a dying show on a dead network. Have some pride and just resign in disgrace. And boycott these two. They have kissed the ring of Trump again. It's 2016 all over again. It's tough to open up dialogue with a man that you've called a Nazi and not be skewered by your audience. That's a really, really thin line to walk. But of course, Joe and Mika had no choice. They can't just scream Orange Man bad for 4 more years. They've been doing it for 8 years. It's now trite. Nobody cares anymore. Certainly nobody is buying the rhetoric at this point. And you can tell that just from pop culture these days. Did you watch any football this weekend? Because the Trump dance is everywhere. We are in the midst of a massive culture shift. For years, nobody in polite society was allowed to acknowledge any kind of support for Trump. It just wasn't allowed. Now it's everywhere. The Washington Post reporting on the MAGA hats of Manhattan today, citing city vendors who are ordering thousands of red MAGA hats to satisfy demand all over New York. I spotted one of those hats. You can see it right there. Greenwich Village a few days after the election. I couldn't believe my eyes. The Post reporting, Trump supporters in this Democratic-leaning area are feeling newly emboldened to wear their beliefs on their heads. Democrat-leaning, it's like 80-20 in Manhattan. This was unheard of a year ago, to see this kind of paraphernalia for Trump wandering around the streets of New York. But so was Trump getting a standing ovation at New York's Madison Square Garden, which CNN described like this.
It really looks like ancient Rome here. This is sort of the conquering Republican Caesar who's going into the Colosseum and everyone's cheering, and he's got his political gladiators with him. That appearance isn't just about him enjoying the applause. He's sending a message to the Senate.
For sure.
Like, yeah, not only are you entertained, but these are my people, and are you willing to fight? Because here's who I have.
Not bad. Fighter John Jones doing the Trump dance to celebrate his win right there. Imagine how freaked out MSNBC viewers are to see these dances all over the place. I mean, college football, NFL, UFC. Where else is it going to pop up? Not long ago, the media was so shocked to even see a MAGA hat in public, they just assumed that this young man in this video had to be the bad guy. You remember this. Nick Sandmann was shredded by the media, who later discovered that the Native American guy with the little instrument was actually the aggressor, taunting Sandmann because of his hat, taunting a kid, a high school kid, because of his hat. Sandmann sued and won settlements from CNN and the Washington Post. Now Nick Sandmanns are everywhere, even in blue cities where they're not supposed to be. Axios reporting on the Republican coming out party. Mary Swallow, a 63-year-old Democrat in Philadelphia, told the Wall Street Journal she hadn't realized how Trumpy her neighborhood had become. Oh, Mary, are you going to be okay? For 8 years, the bulk of Donald Trump's voters were the silent majority. That's how it's been this whole time. And they were very silent because Trump was very vilified. Most people were terrified of Soviet-style retaliation for making their politics known. Would you lose your job? Would your friends all leave you? Would somebody burn your house down? Who knows? Some will continue to stay in the dark, as they have for a long time, but it does appear that many are now showing their MAGA for the first time.
You know, everybody's reporting the same stories, the same spin. You turn the channel, it's always the same. But not us. We're different. We report the real news. No spin, just the facts. Turn to us, and you won't turn back.
Tune in to Rob Schmitt Tonight on Newsmax.